Hi. All right. Today we are going to read a book called Pirate Pete's Talk Like a Pirate. It's by Kim Kennedy. There's the cover. Pirate Pete had the most amazing ship ever to sail the high seas, but he needed a crew. Not any old crew would do, however. I need me a pirate crew, Pete told his parrot, and I know just where to find one. Rascal Island. To Rascal Island we go, cried the bird. Like he's talking to a bird. Pete spun the wheel towards the sea of mischief, and soon his speedy ship had reached Rascal Island. Pete dropped anchor in the bay, and then he hung a sign across the ship's bow saying Buccaneers wanted. Buccaneers, a pirate. Before long, a boat filled with rascals rowed up to the ship. Pete rubbed his hands in glee. They were the dirtiest, most mischievous, and sneakiest looking scallywags and scurvy dogs he had ever laid eyes upon. Look at them. They're a mess, and they've got a fork. One by one, the rascals climbed aboard the ship. Listen up, mateys, announced the parrot. Not the pirate, the parrot. If you wants to sail with Pete, then you've got to prove you've got what it takes. Pete nodded and declared, you needs a peg leg and an old eye patch, a fierce-looking hook, and a beard you can scratch. You got to load a cannon, and know how to fire it. But most of all, you got to talk like a pirate. Oh, look at him. Look at, there's a girl and a dog. A rascal stepped forward, loaded the cannon, and fired it. Nice firing, said Pete. And I sees you got a peg leg, hook, and an eye patch. And that beard of yours, does it hanker for a scratch? It is quite itchy, answered the man, especially during the summer, when the weather tends to be sultry. Blow me down, bellowed Pete. You don't talk like a pirate. Walk the plank. Look, there he is. Look, he has like a little half shirt. As the man splashed overboard, Pete hollered, you should have said, when the sun's a-blazin', me beard gets the itches. Worse than a bucket of sand down me britches. Next, ordered the parrot. Pete squinted at the rest of the rascals and says, you gots to be stubborn and mighty cranky. You gots to be dirty and awfully stanky. You gots to load a cannon and know how to fire it. But most of all, you gots to talk like a pirate. A rascal stepped forward, loaded the cannon, and fired it. Nice firing, said Pete. And I see that you're plenty dirty and stanky. But is ye stubborn and cranky? Oh, indeed, replied the rascal. Sometimes I'm very irritable, especially when I don't eat my breakfast. Shiver me timbers, shouted Pete. You don't talk like a pirate. Walk the plank. Look at her. As the rascal went overboard, Pete cried, you should have said, I's as mean as a shark that's stuck in a tub when I've not scarfed me morning grub. Next, talked the bird. Pete glared at the rascals and said, you gots to love treasure. Why, it's your duty to plunder ship and shore for gleam and booty. You gots to load a cannon and know how to fire it. But most of all, you got to talk like a pirate. A rascal stepped forward, loaded the cannon, and fired it. Nice firing, said Pete. And judging by the gold and rubies you're flaunting, I reckon you've done some plundering in your day. That is correct, said the rascal. I've misappropriated a number of fine jewels without permission. Blimey, cried Pete. You don't talk like a pirate. Walk the plank. Look at this guy, he's fancy. As the rascal leaped overboard, Pete shouted, you should have said, I've pilfered loot on land and at sea, and no man says so has ever stopped me. Next, blared the pirate. Pete shook his head. He had finally lost his patience. He curled up his lip at the last rascal and declared, you gots to trim the sails and mind the deck. You gots to be brave in case of shipwreck. You gots to load a cannon and know how to fire it. But most of all, you gotta talk like a pirate. The rascal walked forward, loaded the cannon, and fired it. Nice firing, said Pete. But is you brave? 'Cause no lily-livered seafarer is gonna sail with me. I can assure you that I am extremely courageous, said the rascal. I will conduct myself with valor at all times. Confound it, shouted Pete, stomping his foot. You don't talk like a pirate. Walk the plank. As the rascal dropped overboard, Pete yelled, You should have said, I'm not a yellow-bellied bone from me head to me toes. I'll stand brave upon this ship wherever she goes. Can you believe it, Pete moaned to his parrot. Out of all them rascals, not a one was fit for me crew. 'Tis true, squawked the bird, by the powers. They're no more than a bunch of squiffies and sprogs, none of 'em fit to go a swashbuckling and plundering for pieces of 8 upon the briny blue on this here vessel. Pete blinked. Why, you talk just like a pirate, he cheered the bird. You're all the crew I needs. Weighs anchor. Aye, aye, said the pirate, and off they sailed. Back to the high seas went Pete and his bird. A pirate always gets the last word. They looked for a crew so they could hire it, but blimey, none of them could talk like a pirate. The end. I hope you liked it. Bye.